Hello, welcome along to our BT Sports Score Facebook Live, and with Robbie Savage, Michael Owen, Rachel Brown-Finnis, who are of course all joining us on the show. We're going live at 2:45 and Chris Sutton and Paul Ince going to be with us as well. So first of all, we've got to talk about, guys, the lunchtime game. You guys have been watching it in the green room, haven't you? 1-0 to Saints. Roy Hodgson, first game in charge. Robbie, you're next to me, so let's start with you. What have you made of Palace since Hodgson's takeover? I know he's not had long, has he, to make any changes?
He's got another 3 games to get beat today. First and foremost, I thought it was a ridiculous decision to get rid of the manager. Absolute nonsense, 4 games. Yeah, that's no time to implement his ideas, so that was ridiculous. But Roy's come in, they're getting beat 1-0. To be fair, they're the better side. They've battered Southampton in the second half, but just can't score.
Agree?
Yeah, I think it's. I was surprised by the decision to let the manager go, but you know that's life at the moment. And I think if I'm right, Sam Allardyce lost his first 6 in charge when and then he went on to do what he did. And I'm sure that Roy Hodgson will get a tune out of Palace, and they'll probably stay up because they've got some decent players. But if you're going to go down that route and say we're going to change the style of play, we're going to modernise it a little bit and go for more of a passing approach, and then just bottle it
not
after
give them
4
any
games,
time. Yeah, exactly. Rach, there was a bit of a mixed fan reaction from the Palace fans when it was rumoured that Hodgson was going to be coming in and taking over. I think fans felt it was a bit of an uninspiring choice. What was your thought?
I think so. It's a bit like resignation that they're going to maybe play boring football, but they would stay in the Premier League or have a better chance of staying in the Premier League. But forsake that for any sort of quality on the eye for the Palace fans. So, but I mean, if Roy Hodgson does keep them in the Premier League, even at this really early stage, then he will pretty much do the job that Steve Parish has brought him in to do.
Yeah. Now, we are live on Facebook now, so if you've got any questions, please do type them below and I'll be reading them out to the guys. So if you've got any questions you want asking, then make sure you send those in to us. We're also coming off the back of a European week. What a week it was in the Champions League as well. Plenty of goals from our English teams. Who impressed you the most, Michael?
Well, I did the Chelsea game and then the Liverpool game.
Yeah.
However, I thought Tottenham probably got the best result.
Yeah.
You know, that Dortmund team's a good team, and obviously the hoodoo of Wembley as well for Spurs. I think that was the result of the week, let's say, for the English teams. But we were pretty awesome, I think. Only Liverpool didn't win, so it was a great week, and I still expect, all of our teams to qualify.
And Robbie, you've had a lot to say about Liverpool this week, haven't you, and their defence?
Well, I think going forward, I said they're like a Ferrari, but at the back they're like a milk float. The two, if they were a car, that's what they'd be.
We've got some breaking news, actually, Robbie. Philippe Coutinho is starting for Liverpool today for the first time this season. Obviously,
Mane suspended, isn't he?
Yeah.
But as Michael said, the 2-2 draw against Sevilla, I think the worst performance midweek has to be Chris Sutton. Done Celtic, they lost 5-0, done Everton.
I wondered how long it would take you to mention
They've done
his
Everton,
name.
they lost 3-0, so Chris Sutton, wow. Poor performance.
0 for 2. He'll be in for a sacking soon. 2 more games.
Yeah.
Michael, you said you watched Liverpool, obviously. Coutinho came on in that game. He looked a bit sluggish to me. What did you make of his performance then, and what are you expecting to see from him today?
Well, first of all, he got a great reception when he came on, which a few people questioned him, but I always thought he would. And I don't think he's the type of player to sulk because he didn't get his move. I think he's a pretty straightforward lad. Listen, I've been there when you've not played, you've been injured and you've not played for quite a few games. It's so hard to pick the baton up. If you're in a certain position, if you're a creative player, if you rely on your touch and things like that, then it can take a few games to get back. And he did look a little bit rusty when he came on. But, of course, he's going to now start today. He'll probably play an hour and then come off and then just gradually get back into things. And there's no question when he does, then he'll be back all right.
He'll certainly be welcome back by Liverpool fans because they need a bit of a pick-up, especially after the midweek. Seeing him come on and the reception that he got was, a bit like sort of Virgil van Dijk, one of those players who sat on the bench throughout this whole transfer window. I think Liverpool fans need that sort of spark in their team.
Well, Rachel, the game you're watching for us today, West Brom against West Ham. We've had a question in for you.
Speaking of sparks,
this is from Gary on Twitter, who says, is Bilic in big trouble if his team lose today? They won in their last game.
I think he is in trouble, and I think he's under the spotlight now, as any manager in this early stage in the season. But, it's a continuation of last season, the form that they showed. Last season he was basically in post because of the sort of the end to the season before that he had, getting into Europa League places. And so this season, he's only got one. I think the main problem for him, he's only really got one option of how to play. You know, lump the ball forwards to Andy Carroll. It's good that he's obviously got back fit because they've got that as an option. But Hernandez has not really kind of come in and done much for him. I don't know whether they're not playing him particularly to his strengths, because you'd think playing with two up front, Andy Carroll, flick-ons for Hernandez would be an obvious combination. But to have Hernandez maybe up there wide on the left, which is what's been playing kind of as part of a sort of front three, has not been particularly effective, and he barely touched the ball in the game before that. So going back to your question, I do think he's in trouble, but the owners don't tend to chop and change too much, and I think that's what's playing in his favour at the moment.
OK, well, West Ham are unchanged since their last game.
He's been a bit unlucky this season, the first 3 games away from home. The first home game in that, they won the game against the Huddersfield side, who have started well, but I think will be in trouble towards the end of the season. So, first home game they've won. You know, so I agree with Rach in a way. It was a culmination of last season's results as well, but what, 4 games in.
You've got a huge expectation on that club, though, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly.
With all due respect, they're not a top 6 club, so if they are floating around having won a couple, lost a couple, and
that's what they are.
That's what they are, really.
Yeah, Michael, some more breaking Liverpool team news. Wijnaldum, Moreno and Jordan Henderson all not starting today. All dropped to the bench. What do you make of that?
Well, I'd be interested to see who's playing in that midfield area then. Chan, I presume.
Chan and Milner.
All right. Well, I've been surprised that Milner's not had much action at all. Of course, he played as a full-back for most of last season.
Sturridge starts today as well.
Right, OK. Well, freshening it up, and it's obviously at home and against a team, that you'd expect to win if you're a Liverpool fan, a Liverpool player. So I think fresh legs is, is probably an important thing. And as I say, not surprised that Milner's starting to get more games now.
Robbie, we've got to talk about your game today. 2 unbeaten sides. Watford against City.
Yeah, well, Manchester
weren't expecting to say that about Watford, were we?
Watford have done great. They've made some good signings. Obviously, Andre Gray with Carlson, who looks a very good player.
And what a manager.
Yeah, and the manager, obviously Silva, Nearly kept Hull up. So, but City, for me, I've said it before the start of the season, Manchester United or Manchester City to win the league, but City have started so well. Fortunate to win at Bournemouth with that late goal, but some of their performances, and in midweek, and Kevin De Bruyne for me has been the player of the season so far. I think he's been unbelievable. And I know people saying they won 5-0 against 10 men, but you still got, sometimes it's hard to play against 10 men. And they scored 1-0 at 11v11, and I thought Liverpool were the better team 11v11 against City, but then to score 4,
Are they good enough defensively, though, Robbie, to go on and challenge for the title?
Yeah, I think, you're looking at the teams defensively. Arsenal, I think it's between United, City and Chelsea. I can't see any of the...
James McManus on Facebook is asking if you think Liverpool will be able to cope with this leaky defence for the rest of the season.
I think you've got that question about so many teams.
Yeah.
I think the only team you don't have is Man United. Like, they are the most solid defensive outfit of the 3 we're talking about being in contention with. But yeah, Liverpool do have problems. Sorry, Michael.
No, I agree. It's everyone seems to have. The thing is, in the Premier League, a lot of games you're playing at home, a lot of games you're playing against inferior opposition if you're one of the top 6. So you never get tested anyway, 14, 15 times a year. You're not even hardly getting tested, so it can paper over a few cracks because you've got 75% of the possession all the time. It's when you play in the Champions League or when you play against a really good team is when you get tested. But I do think there's a few question marks around goalkeepers and defenders in some of those top 6 teams.
Now, Saints still beating Palace 1-0. Max on Facebook is asking, what does Roy Hodgson need to do to turn things around for Palace? As of right now, they're without a goal in 439 minutes, Rachel.
It's pretty dire, isn't it, that? Ugh. I mean, as well, they're conceding, quite a number of goals as well. He's tried his route one he's tried route 1 football, but Benteke's just not putting the ball on the back of the net. So as much as De Boer, changing his tactics, he's still playing to the strengths. I think Benteke and getting the wide players to be whipping the ball in for him. It's just, I don't know whether Benteke's just not quite on his game at the moment. I mean, he's not just the one player. I don't think Kabai's playing particularly well. But there were signs in the last game against Burnley where they started to play, looked like they were playing for the manager, and it's just then is when De Boer got sort of sacked. And we saw the start of this game, Southampton are winning, but they still had that same better drive, kind of more upbeat style of play that Palace were playing. but it's still not getting them goals.
They've not got an easy run coming up either. They've got City, United and Chelsea in
So
their
what are they going to do if they lose every game?
I think because of the opposition, it won't make any difference, but you're right. It's just saying, well, that's 4 games.
It's ridiculous.
No, I
nonsense.
agree.
The ball, they batter Burnley. That's what I think they had 28 shots or something. And then he gets the sack.
But it's always easier for the second man. As I referred back to when Allardyce took over, so I think it was Pardew, the previous manager, having a bad time, gets sacked. Then Allardyce takes over and he loses his first half a dozen games. But you can't really sack him then, because then you just think, right, well that's it, we've just got poor players. But then it turned around. Well, the same thing could happen here. De Boer loses his first 4 games, gets sacked. Then Hodgson could lose his next 4 or 5 games. Everyone said, well, you're not going to sack him. But it's circumstances, isn't it?
I'm listening to a few radio stations yesterday and people saying Ronald Koeman's now under pressure. What is he?
Yeah.
It's because he spent a lot of money. It's ridiculous. Honestly, I just think...
Because, it's
why would you want to be a manager?
It's the people above the managers recruiting these managers. It's like if it's bad recruitment of players, then blame the manager. But if it's bad recruitment of managers, then the people are actually recruiting those. The people on the board, part of the sort of whoever it is who actually deals with that, they should be the ones accountable to that.
Got some other breaking team news as well.
Yeah.
Gareth Barry starts today, so he's equalled Ryan Giggs' 632 appearances in the Premier League. So he's equalled Ryan Giggs. What an impressive feat that is for him.
Unbelievable,
And also 600 starts in the Premier League as well, the only player to get that.
Probably a bit underrated by a lot of people, no?
Yeah, I think he's a good player.
Very, very good player. Won the league. Done everything, really, isn't he?
England caps. He was
only cost £1 million for West Brom as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's not one for the future, is he? So he was never going to cost hundreds of millions. But no, he's been a very, very solid pro for many years.
Good stuff. Right, we're going to have more chat, loads more good stuff coming up. More breaking news, I'm sure. More breaking news, Robbie, all the time. At 2:45, we are going to be live on Twitter. Don't forget to join us there. And also 2:45 on BT Sport 1. Breaking news, Robbie's got a ponytail.
Yeah, that is good news.
Yeah. See you then.